Bulando Tamjese chungi suruzone Lar samshin chewa shen zembe Jejewe wambulon chemba Pakege jilami meya Junyemo dambe yozone Lena beche bandavese Junyingma ngade senchena Ongyen son yasaku naranu Padu jeze shelo chemba Lengar je namla de manji Chengar je namla che jinde Lanama drupachi mare Dakira mimbare same Pantu jeze shelo chempa Lar shinje chebunja mende Diloda shagi dinezi Tanamye jave baranari Demasur
Lamanjano, 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 lamanjano.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday morning's meditation seminar. So suspend our mind just a little bit. We'll leave that little room of our mind, compelling as it is, and we'll shift into this awareness. And not even awareness of our mind, but awareness of its own self. Of course, there's no one way of doing this becoming aware of awareness. Often, even events in our life will open up that door of awareness. We enter it, sometimes we fall into it. This open, spacious gnosis, this knowingness that's very direct, non-conceptual, completely experiential, beyond thought. The great Tibetan master Padmasambhava would describe this awareness as snigpo. What he means is sheer intensity, radiant intensity, light, knowingness as light. He would also say that by having this desire for awareness, this attunement to awareness, is more than enough, and the experience arises, self-manifests. It's like a gift. It happens. He would often describe it as gazing. Simply the gaze, not the stare, not the look, not the search, but this open gaze. And gazing not simply through our eyes, but the whole body. It's like the archetype Avalokiteshvara has 1,000 eyes, like right over here, gazing, attuned to the entire body. And the body itself is the medium of this field of awareness. Embodiment. So we'll do that now. We'll feel this awareness in our body. We can hear the birds, we integrate sounds. Like resting in the body. In a certain way, gazing is like extending effortlessly. This extension of awareness into awareness, the light into the light. So with that understanding, we'll extend to each other. Extend to the immediacy of the situation. Because Padmasambhava would also say that the very appearances, the circumstances, are themselves the embodiment of the light. He would describe person or people not simply as psychological, contained psychologies, but he would call them the cosmic anthropos. That humans are cosmic, perceptual fields, knowingness, all manifesting primordial knowingness itself, fields within fields. For Padmasambhava, the quality was radiance, light. Some say, like Herbert Gunther and others, he was influenced by the Gnostics, or philosophies of light, luminosity, radiance, intensity of radiance. So in many ways, Dzogchen is gazing. Whether our eyes are open or closed, and whatever's arising, it's like gazing, not as a witness, detached witness, but embodied gazing, whole body, whole being, whole field, gazing into this field that's manifesting itself around us and through us. This open gaze, like dasan, open gazing, non-conceptual. And there are many, many methods, infinite methods. One of the methods that evolved from Padmasambhava was called Togao, the leaping method, leaping through. And it was a gazing method. But all these methods, you should not worry about them being too right or too correct, or if you get hooked into that, you lose it. It's much more looser. The entire awareness is loose, indeterminate. It happens. If we locate our minds too focused with that, we'll be in our mind. And we'll lose this open, fluid state, this field. The gazing methods are for every place. Sometimes they gaze at the sky, nature, pots, plants, people, human face, icons. So gazing is for every place and any place. Even right now, you're gazing. For your whole body. And at times, you enter meditation and you simply gaze, open. Thought-free. And if thoughts arise, they just move through and you gaze through them. Contentless. No content. No content. Free yourself from meaning. Free yourself from meaning, signification. Pot. Then as you gaze, if you like, you can gaze through your whole body, eyes closed, and you're still gazing into whatever's manifesting. Or you can open your eyes and gaze just wherever you're at. It's always the same phenomena arising. As you gaze, you can open your eyes. You can gaze into the space. You can gaze into whatever is appearing. And he describes the eyes as very soft, just opened eye gaze, like a child gazing. If you want, you can do that, if you want to. As you're gazing, you suspend the mind, just like you do at the beach, gazing into the sky, the water, or a person's face. He then suggests that you leave your mouth open. And as you breathe through your mouth and not through your nose, he suggests that that is the most direct way to dissolve the winds of the mind. It also opens up the heart essence, Hridayam. It's almost like ah. And as we do that, eventually we may find the breathless breath, where the breath becomes very subtle, very minimal. So you're gazing in the stillness. Then as that unfolds, he suggests, as you feel the heart opening, the light source comes into your eyes. So the light meets the light. The natural light meets the natural light. And all these details are really just indications, like a paintbrush. You don't take them too seriously. Then he goes with one more statement, that you extend into the earth. You're connecting your body to the earth. And that facilitates the sense of the self arising, of this awareness arising, up, like the Kundalini, rising up, and then into the extended gaze. So there's some sense of your attunement to the lower body, grounding, rising up the energia, the light, Shakti, Chi, energy, arising. So this power behind the gaze. Sometimes, if you wish, you can lean a little forward. with a little bit of an angle that creates that energy moving up. The light meets the light. Singpo, sheer radiance. He considered this the most direct method of entering non-duality, entering the beingness of being, which is light, luminous, and that vast mixture of profound silence and intensity at the same time, just like life. We'll do that now. He also suggests that we extend this awareness in all directions, like around, extending in front, to the right, to the left, behind us. You see, that is the true mandala. Like the sun. It's like gazing through everything and anything. Everything is iconic. All events are like icons. They open. Then describes that the different dimensions of this awareness, sometimes the gaze will be Nirmanakaya. It's this dimension, flesh, houses, cars, dogs, computers, us, love, hate, wars, goodness, beneficence, everything. And then in the gaze, the light, the phenomena opens. And one experiences translucidity, the light. Other times, Sambhogakaya may open, the apparitional dimension, the dimension of the vortexes, primordial energies, archetypes, vortexes, tigles, he called them, these vortexes, that the world is vortexual, that humans are vortexual, spinning, moving, the vortexual. And the vortexes then take forms and shapes. Then out of those forms and archetypical shapes, Nirmanakaya comes us. But at the level of depth, vortexes, winds, turn. Sometimes you feel those. Then other times the gaze, everything dissolves into pure, luminous light without any forms. Sometimes it's very light, sometimes it's luminous darkness, vast, without reference. Self-arising. In the most profound and true way, the field is gazing through you into its own self. The sense of the energy, the pulsation, is ultimate light. The most horrible experiences are light. That is the leap to have that perception. And from the gazing capacity, he went further and enunciated practices to dissolve and cut through obscurations and terrible circumstances. At heart he was a warrior. Developed the Vajrakalaya practices, cutting through, symbolized by the sword, the Purabha, cutting through obscurations in her own self and circumstances, the capacity to extend the awareness that it would cut through phenomena, situations. So in a very real way, the gazing practice and the Vajrakalaya practices of the Purabha, the sword, the cutting through, are very close. This extension, expansion of the light. The light is the sun, as fire, and the light of the moon as beneficence. Total beneficence, soft. And those lights, how the light manifests, is always within us, as the sun and as the moon. When someone asks Swami Muktananda, what do you think about? And he said, I don't think most of the time. I'm really just gazing. I'm gazing into everything and anything I gaze. And in that way, I'm always gazing into the primordial awareness. And then, sometimes I think when I have to think, when I have to do something, or a certain problem that requires thinking, then I turn that on and I think. Other than that, I'm gazing directly. I gaze directly from this awareness. He also added, and at times I gaze through my mind too, because the mind can also gaze as awareness permeates it. So then the mind and awareness are in oneness, no longer separated, no longer dissociated. And so the bliss of samadhi becomes the bliss of the world. As a jiva mukta, a person is free. Just as they are. Spots and all. the power of your awareness and your experience of awareness does not depend on your mind. We tend to westernize everything, and we psychologize everything here in the West. Freud is one. And so we think, if we really shape our mind up, then we can live in awareness, or the field, whatever metaphor you want. That's never going to happen. You meet great yogis. A lot of them have warped minds, strange minds. They just do. Then people get aghast by that. But actually, they live in awareness, just like you and I can. And the mind can trail along. Like a tin can. It's much easier this way. It's called cutting through. Then the light of awareness, embodied awareness, influences our mind, metabolizes our mind naturally, metabolizes experience. SEMS, mind, thinking, feeling, sensation, memory. SEMDE, awareness, very nature of mind. So we shift slowly but surely from psychological to a cosmological view. Not belief, but perceptually. Do you follow that? Do you follow that? View, open, awareness. To embody awareness, to embody the light, does not depend on your mind. As long as you and I think that, you'll struggle, endlessly struggle. It's like killing ants, fields of ants. Gazing with eyes open, gazing through the whole body, gazing into the space, gazing into everything and anything, suspending mind. Then focusing on the heart, shifting awareness to the heart, even though you're gazing, shifting from mind to heart, opening mouth, extending, up, then going further and extending all the way down into the earth, grounding into the energy of the earth, nature, and feeling the self-arising of the awareness, of the energy, pulsation, movement, vibration, field arising. Extending to the situation around you, the people, or whatever's there. And then staying in that attunement, that resonance. Experiencing the beingness of being arising in us. Going beyond our psychologies. Light. Being and light are the same. Padma Baba also used the metaphor sometimes of mind and psyche, another way of speaking. And moving out of mind alone and living in psyche. Living in the energy. Experiencing our bodies being the medium of the field. Gazing through the field, feeling through the field, most of the time. Extending the field, most of the time, which is the great compassion. Extending is the great compassion. Extending the light to everything and anything. The more you extend, the more the doors will open in your body. That generosity of extension will bring more and more energy and light into you. When you feel the energy, that is knowingness itself. Once Sharon, who's recuperating very well, by the way, asked Swami Muktananda this. she's very direct, as you know. She says to Swami Muktananda, I'm afraid of the Guru. And Baba looks at her, because he's speaking to this energy. He says, what you call fear is love. Then he says, come closer to me. And he says, do you feel the energy? She says, yes, I feel the energy. He says, do you feel the energy in your body? She says, yes, I feel the energy in my body. He says, that is the Guru. That is the process of self-revelation. Got it? Knowingness. Energy. Light. Finally, Padma would say, he was a master magician. That means a person who formulates change. He says for the person, for awareness, to be awareness holder, it's really, he says, the difficulty is not money or wealth, as some would think, or sex, as everybody else thinks. It's your own mind. Basically, we're in love with our own mind, even when we can't stand it. We love our minds, even though we can't stand it. So the thought of leaving our mind and entering into awareness is in many ways unbearable. It pulls us back relentlessly. Relentlessly. And we work on our mind forever and ever and ever and even ever. And it does improve. It really does improve. That's why from these traditions they say, you work on your mind and 23 eons from now, it'll happen for you. It does. Good luck. Or, if you cut through it and enter this awareness in one lifetime, this is yours. And that is the promise of all the siddhas and all the great traditions who loved awareness and were tuned to it. So having been cultivating awareness for quite some time now, we'll focus on people we know and love who are having difficulties. And we'll focus our awareness into them. Inside to inside. Very direct. Immediate. Non-local. Direct. Let's do that now. And we'll follow Yangtang Rinpoche's words as he says, the great compassion, absolute compassion, is the extension of this awareness, this light, into the present of the person, into their past, and into their future. And we do this from this timeless place. into the present, to their past, to their future. And then we'll move to another person. Surely there's more than one. Extend to the present, to their past, to their future. As you notice, when you extend, you can feel the self-arising of awareness. Don't extend into our city, to the present, past, future. Then we'll extend into all the different cities. It's Ningpo, sheer intensity, radiance intensity. And we step beyond that form of internalization, where we internalize people's pain and try and transmute it in our own bodies. We go beyond that. And become very proactive. Agency. And then we'll just rest for a few minutes. Just like taking a break. Just resting inside. Finally, Padmasambhava says this. I actually like Padmasambhava a lot. And he emphasized the bodhisattva, the vow or the aspirations of the bodhisattva, which is whatever takes place for me is not only for my own self but for everyone. Whatever I'm doing and whatever I'm experiencing is not only for my own self but for everyone. And he took this because he realized that narcissism is very difficult to overcome, especially the narcissism of our own mind, our favorite possession. So by taking the bodhisattva aspirations, it actually takes us out of our own mind and brings us into otherness, which is the world itself. And that's why it's really, really useful to take that aspiration. Whatever happens, it's not simply for myself, but for everyone. And immediately that cuts through the self-absorbed preoccupation of self-growth. With that, we'll rub our hands together, place it on our hearts. I'd like to thank everybody for coming this morning. And we're not going to have refreshments today. We're not going to have people meditate. We're going to close up shop at the end today because Sharon's in recuperation. Hope you guys had a good time. Thank you. I always like recommending books. This is called The Teachings of Padmasambhava. It's a great book by Herbert Gunther. The Brill Press. But if you like Padmasambhava, you want to learn more about him. There's a lot of mythology around Padmasambhava, right? But it's a very good book. Thank you guys so much. And next week we'll have a regular program and our regular thing.